Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Entertainment Brick Show. With San Diego Comic-Con now over, it is finally time for me to get a little bit more news out there regarding Adventure Time, Fionna and Cake. I wanted to wait to make this video just in case there was anything that kind of came out. I also wanted to let the previous news settle, get some more opinions from other people, from other videos that I've seen kind of cover the Adventure Time, Fionna and Cake topic. And I have created another video with some very, very cool news from tons of different channels that I've just basically been scouring all over the place, looking at different videos regarding the Fionna and Cake show, as well as different San Diego Comic-Con interviews from channels, which I'll name here. One channel, The Illuminati, and another channel, Tony Guerrero, they both posted two separate interviews with Adam Muto, the showrunner, as well as one of the producers. I forget their name, but regardless, there's two interviews from them. There was also a very nice descriptive video from the channel The Roundtable, which I also got a little bit of news from that I actually didn't even know about. And there was also been a little bit of a leaked Adventure Time Fionna and Cake like clip that has been going around a little bit that I've seen. The channel that has it that I've seen that I watched it on was this is kind of a silly name, but Mr. Goofy Goober. So that was yeah. There's a lot of channels that I've been kind of looking through, which are all going to be the four that I mentioned there will be linked down in the description. Go check out their videos on there because they have some interesting stuff for sure regarding Adventure Time, Fionna and Cake. But basically, I put together a big list here of some stuff that I want to talk about in this video here. Some of which non-spoiler, and some of which a little bit getting into spoiler territory. I'm going to actually separate this video by non-spoiler and then spoiler territory, just so that I can still share some news to you, but just in case you don't want to know too much about the series. And again, this isn't like story spoilers, it's more like some cameos that might be a little that might be spoiled for you. But again, I will separate them. I will let you know when the big spoiler stuff is coming. The stuff that we're going to start with here is just kind of some other information that I actually didn't know about previously that I do want to share with you. And again, this is mostly this section here is non-spoiler. There's no big spoilers in this part of the section, in this section of the video. So here we go. Let's start with the first thing. Right. So the first thing on my non-spoiler list here is that in one of the interviews, actually, matter of fact, in both interviews, Adam Muto explains that this show is not an adult series. It just deals with more adult themes. And again, the half-hour episodes give them more time for certain aspects of the show, certain themes that they want to take care of. A half hour is much more, I guess, useful timing to kind of explore some things. So I found that, first off, very interesting because it somewhat is kind of contradicting, I would say, like what the Adventure Time leaked clip showed. Which, again, I'm going to actually save that part for the spoilery kind of spot of the video where I explain that clip. But basically in that clip, again, right now, no spoilers, it was a little bit more of an adult-related clip. I don't think, like kids could see it. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Again, we're going to talk about that leaked clip a little bit later. But basically, Adam Muto was saying that this wasn't too much of an adult series, which after seeing that clip, I don't know, I feel like maybe this is more geared towards adult, and he does say it deals with more adult themes, but just based off that leaked clip alone, I don't know, I feel like this is a little bit kind of riding the line between like an adult series and a younger kids series. Well, it's not even a younger kids series. I don't know, it's a little confusing, it's a very gray area, this show. But anyways, I just want to mention that very quickly. The next thing that I learned from the Roundtables video, so shout out to them, of course, and again, they're going to be linked in the description, that Patrick McHale, who was the main creator of Over the Garden Wall, a wonderful show, as well as Rebecca Sugar from Steven Universe, are returning to do stuff for this show. I know I'd imagine Rebecca Sugar is going to be making the music for the series, so a lot of the cool song sequences that we are presumably going to see. One that I can think of off the top of my head from the original trailer was that sequence with Ice King on the piano. I imagine that's going to be a musical number, and I imagine Rebecca Sugar is the one who is all behind that. Patrick McHale, I don't know exactly what his job or role is on this series. I know he worked on the original Adventure Time series, but I don't know what he did exactly. I didn't really look into that too farther. But regardless, two very decently well-known names in the kind of Adventure Time Cartoon Network space. So very cool to see that they're returning. Another thing was that Tom Kenny, who was the voice of Ice King / Simon, basically explained that this is the most emotional recording session that he's ever had. And I wanted to kind of explore this a little bit more as to like what could this mean. Now, this is not spoilers at all. I know nothing about this in regards to what Tom Kenny means by having this show be very emotional. But pure speculation. I wonder if it's going to be something regarding Betty. I wonder with maybe he's just kind of having a mental breakdown over losing Betty and such. It could be Marceline related. There could be something with Marceline, as we did see Marcy is confirmed to be in the series. Not only by the poster, I believe, but also by a younger Marcy being seen in the trailer. And then also, this is a little bit of a darker turn, but now seeing that leaked clip of the series, I'm thinking maybe this could be the option. Again, it's still a little dark, but maybe he's having an issue with death. Maybe he's kind of reaching, a certain age where he maybe kind of has to start worrying about, like, is he maybe going to pass away? And I wonder if that's going to be something. And maybe he's so struck by that. Maybe he's so struck by that he, and he's not with Betty and such. So I feel like there's something that they could do with that maybe. But anyways, another thing was that Adam Muto mentioned in one of the interviews that the show is going to be dealing with themes regarding like late 20s, kind of 20s, 30s, being an adult, basically. Like I said previously, adult themes. So one thing that he mentioned was paying rent. You know what I mean? So that is just something that we're going to see in the show. He also said there's going to be a few new characters as well added to the series. But there's also going to be returning characters, of course, which we got little hints of in the trailer. So that's very cool. Another one is that, here's on my notes here. Lots of characters from the original series will appear in gender-bent versions as well. Another thing is that this show is set 12 years after the original series. And I guess that makes sense with the timeline, as Finn is looking much older in not only the trailer, but also the leaked clip. Again, we're going to get to that later, but, these characters are a little bit older now. Fiona is like 30, I think they said, and Finn also seems to be like 30 years old. So again, this is 12 years after the original series. So regarding the timeline here, I'm just kind of looking at it through the timeline. This is before Together Again, which is the Distant Lands episode of Adventure Time with Finn and Jake. And then I also saw this as after BMO, obviously because BMO was a prequel, after Wizard City, because that seemed to kind of take place roughly right after the main series finale of Adventure Time with Peppermint Butler learning magic again and such. And then the most important one here, because Finn did appear in this episode, Obsidian. This is also going to take place after Obsidian. So that's also very interesting, because Finn was looking closer to like 20 years old, and Simon looked younger as well. I'm trying to think if there's any other examples that would be useful, but I don't think so. Finn looks younger than he does in this show, it seems. And again, Simon looked a little bit younger as well. So I imagine this is also after Obsidian. And then the last thing for the non-spoiler section of the video here is that there is some hints at potential spin-offs following this show, following this series here. So one thing that I pulled from one of the interviews is that Adam Muto said, quote, "We had 3 or 4 potential series that we had gotten ready," and then end quote there. So apparently he was also continuing to say that recognizability seemed to be a solid reason to why Fiona and Cake was chosen, obviously because, Finn and Fiona share the same, kind of like the same design relatively, just gender bend, of course, and as well as Jake and Cake also are somewhat similar as well. So, the visual similarity is something why they want to kind of go, is one of the reasons why they wanted to go with this show, which makes sense. I mean, that makes sense when it comes to like a business standpoint, I suppose, when, kind of looking at it from HBO Max's and Cartoon Network's point of view, having something kind of be recognizable to really get the show to be popular, I think is actually a pretty good idea. But anyways, there were still ideas for more shows that apparently are being thrown around, and Adam Muto seems very interested, or not, I shouldn't say very interested, but seems like he'd be willing to do them, which is very good. I like seeing that. I hope that they're actually able to do a lot of cool shows in the future past this series. But yeah, I wanted to I'm also probably going to do another video just on that topic, because I find that very interesting, and I'm very curious what potential spin-off shows he might be thinking about. So, yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. Now we are going to be moving on to the heavy, or not heavy spoiler, but the kind of like, I bumped the mic, cameo spoiler section here. Again, nothing too crazy regarding the story of the series. I really don't know any of the story. I just know some of the cameos, and again, somewhat spoiler territory here. So if you don't want to watch, if you want to be surprised with some of the cameos, then do not watch this next section. But if you're interested to see who's going to be up in the show, and again, I don't know all of them, I only know some of them, but if you're interested in who's going to be in this series, some returning characters, some cameo characters, then stay tuned. Now we are on to the somewhat spoiler kind of territory here, mostly just regarding cameos. Again, I know nothing about the story aside from what was said and shown in the trailers, as well as the leaked clip, which we are going to talk about after I kind of get through my other list here. So there's a lot to talk about here. But anyways, one of the first more spoilery things to talk about here is that Gunter, the Penguin, will return in this series. And we did kind of see Gunter in the trailer a little bit as a statue. I don't know if that's necessarily what Adam Muto meant when he said there's going to be more Gunter, or if Gunter's actually going to return for real, which was very exciting either way, I guess. But yeah, most of this stuff kind of comes from some of the interviews that they were talking about. But anyways, yeah, so more Gunter. The next thing is that Finn and Jake will appear in the series. We have seen Finn not only in the trailer, but also he plays a decent part in the leaked clip. Again, we're going to talk about that a little later. But one of the things that gets me is that he said that Jake will appear in the series. Now, if this takes place after Obsidian, that would mean that most likely Jake has passed away. So, and, that's kind of interesting because, again, if he passed away, how are we going to see him? I have a couple of ideas that I want to share with you. Again, I don't know if these are true or not. This is pure speculation. So, one of the things in the interviews is that Adam Muto, when talking about Finn and Jake appearing in the series, I believe, said, quote, dig into a silent moment, end quote. And I don't know if he just kind of said that just as that's just what came out of his mouth, but I kind of wonder if that kind of means something. Because if Jake, in Obsidian, by the time Obsidian comes around, which was maybe, what would that have been? Maybe like 6 or 7 years after the original series, I would imagine. Like, let's say Finn is like mid-20s at that point. Jake's gone. And the only way I would think they would be able to see Jake is either with some flashbacks to the younger days, or maybe a super old version of Jake, and maybe Jake wasn't dead. But I think Jake's dead at that point. And again, maybe there could definitely be flashbacks to younger days with Finn and Jake. But one darker aspect that I feel like could maybe be something that they explore in the show, because this is a little bit more, again, adult-oriented with a little bit more adult themes. Jake's funeral, I was also thinking could be something that they explore. And I know that's really dark, and I know that's very sad, but again, with the idea of darker and more adult themes for the show, as well as just what was shown by the leaked clip, I feel like this could be a possibility. And again, when Muto said, again, this could just be something that I'm just looking way too far into, but dig into a silent moment, like, a funeral, a silent moment. So I wonder if that's what they're going to do, which would be very sad, but I feel like this could also be like a really powerful scene, I think, as well. And that could maybe even also contribute to the reason why Simon is so distraught and like kind of emotional, I guess, part of the emotional aspect of the series. So yeah, there's a couple different things I have floating around with that idea, but I found that very interesting to say the least. The next thing here is that the purple puffy jacket guy seen in the trailer seems to be a human version of LSP and is voiced by Pendleton Ward. Pendleton Ward has returned to voice LSP, which is very cool. Another one was that Tree Trunks is confirmed for an extended cameo that was said during the interview. And even though the main voice actress for Tree Trunks has passed away a couple years ago, Polly Lou Livingston, they did say that Tree Trunks is going to show up in the series for a cameo here. And then one more thing that was said in the interviews that I watched was that Adam Muto made it pretty clear that the Lich still exists in Adventure Time and is in the multiverse, because when Jake pushed the Lich's hand into the multiverse portal, it ended up getting spread across all the multiverses, all the different universes. So he did make it pretty clear that the Lich is still in Adventure Time and is still living. You know, the Lich Hand in the portal and such. So could he be hinting at the Lich appearing in this series? I'm confident in saying that the Lich might make a cameo in this series. One thing that I heard from actually a friend of mine was that it would be kind of cool if like there was a universe where the Lich actually won and like ruled over the world, and it's like this hand is like the king of this universe. That could be pretty cool. I would like to see that, but I don't see the Lich being a main antagonist for the series. Just kind of like a little cameo when there may be like multiverse hopping or something like that. But again, all speculation. I don't know anything regarding what actually happens in the series. But anyways, next we're going to move on to the leaked clip, the Adventure Time leaked clip that has been going around. It's a very interesting clip. So basically we see, I'm going to kind of break it down if you haven't seen it. Basically we see, it's a continuation of the water dragon scene from the trailer, where there was that giant dragon who was like screaming at Simon, who was laying on the ground. We basically get an extended look at that sequence. Basically, Simon goes in the water, sees some eyes come up, and then he gets launched from the water because the dragon's massive, and it's like a villain or an evil dragon, and starts, or just an animal that's trying to protect its territory, and basically it's roaring and stuff like that. And then we see Finn come down from a tree and stab the dragon in its nose, with blood pouring out of this dragon's nose, and blood also getting on Simon, poor Simon, and he saves the day, basically. He saves the day. And I found this a very interesting clip because, again, Adam Muto had been saying that this is more of like it's more of an adult-themed show, but it's also for, audiences. Like, all audiences can watch it, but I don't know. I feel like with the amount of blood that was kind of shown and like blood getting on Simon and stuff, I'm like, I don't know if this is necessarily like, little 7 or 8 year olds, 10-year-olds can really watch this. It's kind of a lot for a 10-year-old, I feel like. But anyways, regardless though, for me, I'm very excited. Of course, I'm older than 10, so I'm very excited. But yeah, Finn looks great. He has a very cool design. I love the look of him, and I couldn't tell by the clip's audio. This could be just me not hearing it right, but I don't know if Jeremy Shatta is back as Finn. I imagine he is, because he is just the voice of Finn, but I couldn't tell just by by hearing it. But I'm pretty confident in saying, regardless, he's definitely the voice of Finn. But anyways, it was decently bloody when the dragon was stabbed, and again, I don't know. I mean, Adam Muto was just saying it would be okay for most ages, all ages, but it was kind of a lot of blood. So. That also, again, reinforces the idea that maybe this is going to be, it's definitely going to be dealing with heavier themes. Again, death with Jake's funeral, potentially. I don't know. Again, that's speculation. But maybe this is also allows for more cooler fight scenes with more blood. So I'm very interested to see how this show is received. Adventure Time is obviously, the original series is a kid show. But with some more, liberties taken in this more of an adult series, I don't want to say adult, but young adult series with more blood and more darker themes, I'm interested to see how people like this show. I'm very excited, to be honest with you. Like, originally I was a little on edge. I was like, I don't know if I want to see blood in my Adventure Time series, but I feel like this could open a gateway to a lot of other deep and sad and interesting topics. So I'm pretty excited. And then just one last thing before I close out this video. Couple of theories that I just want to kind of throw around after having some more time to think about it. I want to just kind of throw them in this video. One, I'm just going to go through them very quickly here. Is Simon in the future of Ooo, where human people came back and created cities, as shown by the future episodes of Adventure Time? If you don't know, in the original series, there are some sequences that we see in the future world of Adventure Time. One in particular that I can think of is Lemon Hope. In the Lemon Hope episodes, where he comes back at the very end of the episode and like falls asleep in the Castle Lemongrab, in the destroyed castle, or not destroyed, but like run down Castle Lemongrab, and we get to see very large skyscrapers, very large like normal cityscape. So I wonder if Simon is now living there, because it's probably too cold in the Ice Kingdom nowadays, and he's living in there, and that's kind of why we saw him in with a shower curtain, some house plants, some paintings, some pipes. Just kind of a regular apartment in the city kind of deal is where Simon is living. That's a theory. And then also, Adam Muto mentioned the characters of Fionna and Cake already existing when they were looking to choose another show to make a spinoff of, or when they were choosing to make this show a spinoff. So I'm curious, were some of the other show ideas that Adam Muto and the team were throwing around based on brand new characters? So I found that very interesting as well. But there you have it. That is some extra information from San Diego Comic-Con, from a bunch of different channels. And again, go check out their videos, because they're, very good at this. They're great interviews, cool leaked clip, and of course the roundtable did a great breakdown discussion of a ton of different stuff from San Diego Comic-Con that I didn't even know about. So again, go check out their channels, go check out their videos, and yeah, that's really it for this video. I also want to say thank you as well for almost 1,000 views at the time of this recording on that Adventure Time Fionna and Cake breakdown video. That was a lot of fun to make, and I'm super excited about this show, so I appreciate all the love and support from that video. But yeah, I'm going to close this one out. So if you enjoyed this video, do the comedy dupe stuff, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys later.